Hey friend, are you a mama who wants to stop just getting by? Maybe you're motivated to grow yourself in your motherhood, in your marriage, and you want it to bear fruit. Or maybe you want to stop letting the mom guilt, shame, and limiting beliefs and lies and start stepping into the woman and the truth that God has created you to be while we're juggling all the things, nursing a baby, battling laundry, trying to keep it together, and a spicy marriage. But where do we start, right? What's up, sister? I'm here to hold your hand through this journey because I believe when you're ready to take control of your life, beat the limiting excuses, aka all those little lies in your head, and step into the woman God created you to be, you can not only survive, but sister, you can thrive. But you're gonna have to show up for yourself. It's time for you to tough love your way through taking self-care seriously, investing and growing in your marriage, owning your motherhood, and getting rid of excuses because the glory is in the journey. It's in the mess. In this podcast, you'll find navigating mom guilt, mindset, marriage strategies, and everything in between with no fluff and lots of fun. Let's go. Hey sis, this episode is going to be a short and sweet one because I wanted to hop on, give you a little encouragement amidst this summer chaos, right? You're pouring out for your kids, you're planning all the special things, you're doing everything for everyone, and you have more things to juggle than you have hands to carry, right? And you're feeling burnt out. Maybe it's the season of you just don't know how to embrace your kiddos right now, or maybe you're just burnt out, you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and I want to remind you that you are not defined by this one moment. This moment of frustration, maybe the season of just being pulled in all directions, of exhaustion, of trying to get in the deadlines, but also trying to prioritize your kids, but also trying to invest in your marriage. Sis, I see you, and you should be proud of how hard you're working to try to show up for all the things. Sometimes we can't show up 100% for everybody at every moment of the day because there's not enough of us to go around. And I think that that's okay. I think that it's okay to normalize the fact that sometimes we're going to fall short because we're human beings. Sometimes we're going to not be able to focus on our kids the way we want to focus on it. And here's the thing. We don't need to focus on the one day, the one time, that 1 week that we had to work on that deadline, we had to work on that project, or we had a wedding to plan, or we had some sort of thing going on that kept us distracted. It's that we are wholeheartedly coming from a good place. We're trying to make it work. We're trying to focus on our kids. We're trying to get better every time. We're trying to get this out of the way so that way the next week we can. I think that sometimes we magnify these one-off situations of yelling at our kids being short, and then we feel like we're a bad mom. We feel like we don't deserve the kids. We feel like somebody else could do it better than us, right? But if you step back and look at the whole picture of how you showed up for your kids, man, it's not at the end of the day they're going to be like, Mom, what a great house we had. It was so clean. It's going to be like, Mom, I totally saw how much you enjoyed us because you let go and you lived it with us. So my encouragement here is twofold. I want to encourage you, one, if you're in the season of like just all the things and you're in the thick of it, sis, give yourself a break. It is okay to have a season of busyness. It is okay to have, your several eggs in the basket because you want them to. It is different when you want these things, right? And you're pursuing something, or you're trying to accomplish something, or you really want to get something done, right? And it's just a season of needing to do what you got to do because the Lord said it ain't ever going to be easy, right? He says he'll help you through it, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. So I want to encourage you in that it's just a season. What is dangerous is if the season becomes habitual, if it becomes season after season after season after season, right? It's a cycle that we can't break. But if it's a week, if it's a month of you hustling, or if it's because you need to focus on your marriage and focus on your kids less, or maybe it's because you're pulled in all these deadlines at work or what have you, or there's just family stuff going on and you're distracted, sis, your kids will understand. They are not holding this against you. But here's the deal. When you come out of the mess, or when you have the opportunity and the windows to invest in somebody, make it your kids. Make it your kids or make it you. Okay? Because then they get the overflow or the lack of whatever you have, right? So if you are in this season of burnout and overwhelm, and you know that this is rough waters that you're treading, and then you're still trying to swim and you're still barely hanging on to that life raft, well, then how do you think your kids are doing, right? If their mom isn't giving herself a swim break, right? Like you're at the pool and the lifeguards tell the kids to get out of the water for 10, 15 minutes because they need a break because they won't take it themselves. Sis, you got to do that for yourself too. because otherwise you're pulling your kids along behind you on a little life raft and you're barely swimming. And they're like, Mom, what are you doing? Right? So give yourself that break, but also give yourself the freedom, right? Like it's challenging because you feel torn. You feel like you can't show up for them and you can't show up for yourself and you're failing, you're failing, you're failing, you're failing. Oh my gosh, no. I want to encourage you that it's okay, but you gotta pay attention. That awareness is key to give yourself a break, to pour into yourself, to show up for your kids, leave the laundry, right? If we're doing all the things, if we have family drama going on, if we have family illness, if we have something else that is pulling our attention constantly, and then we go and focus on the laundry, like I said, at the end of the day, our kids aren't going to walk away as adults and be like, man, Mom, you really know how to tri-fold that t-shirt. I'm so glad you organized my closet and spent less time with me on the floor playing with a puzzle, right? So pour back into yourself, make yourself a priority, and then have fun, let loose, and live and experience life with your kids. Don't just exist, live with your kids. Be weird, be that weird mom running around, shooting the water gun at each other. Let loose, let go, and I promise you will feel that joy and that freedom and that rejuvenation from that fun with your kids. On the other hand, my second encouragement for you today is that if you are a mom who's consistently trying to show up better, you're trying to grow, you're trying to become a better version of yourself, you should be proud of how far you've come. Have you taken a moment to look back and look a year, 5 years behind you and see, wow, how far you've come now? Maybe it's generational things that you're trying to break in your family. Maybe it's the negative self-talk that you're trying to get rid of and you found yourself talking less down to yourself lately. Or maybe it's that you're not doing those bad habits that your mother used to do, your grandmother, or somebody in your family used to do, and you're now changing the trajectory for your family and your kiddos. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to fail, right? But that does mean that each and every time your your family line continues, that generational cycle is breaking more and more every time because of you. And only because you chose to do the work, to get the sweat on your brow, get down on your hands and knees, do the scrubbing, do the work, do the heavy lifting because you want to see a change in your family. You want to see a change in your kids' kids and their kids' kids and the way that they parent their kids' kids and their great grandkids, right? And so I want to tell you, when you have those moments where you're feeling ashamed because you yelled or because you're impatient or because you did something that triggered a past traumatic experience for you, and it reminded you of somebody you didn't want to be like and you promised you would never be like, that, Mom, there is forgiveness for you. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And that one moment of, mistake or just impatientness or whatever, like that only makes you a human being. And forgiveness goes far with your kiddos. That's showing your kiddos that you're human, that they're going to mess up, they're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. Because that's what life's about, is learning from mistakes, failing forward, and then asking for forgiveness, because there's power in that. There's power of acknowledging, hey, I messed up. Mom messed up and I'm sorry. Let's go outside and play and, shake this whole thing off, right? Or let's start over. Let me have this conversation with you again. I'm sorry. Did you see where I lost my cool for a minute because I was caught up in this, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take it out on you. So I want to encourage you, Mama, if you're showing up today in those two buckets of being overwhelmed and pulled in all the directions, or if you're being in that bucket where you feel like you just can't get it right, sis, I want you to take a step back and look at the life that you're living. And if you step back and the whole picture looks like it is slowly a masterpiece in the making, right? And it could be a messy masterpiece, y'all. Some of these paintings my 5-year-old could paint, and they're being sold for millions and millions of dollars, okay? I'm not saying it has to look pretty. I'm just saying it's one stroke at a time of being put together into a masterpiece. But we get caught up on that one little stroke, and when that one little stroke is just on that giant piece of paper, it can look like a mess, right? It looks like a bird doo-dooed on it. And then we're questioning how good of a parent we are, how good of a person we are. Oh my gosh, we must be failing. And I want to encourage you today that that is not the case. Sis, if you've seen how far you've come, if you could step back and see yourself through God's eyes, through your father's eyes, through your friend's eyes, through your family's eyes, those people that are rooting for you, that see the change in you, then you would see a woman who is strong, who is capable, who is powerful, who is a great mother, who is a human being going through the journey of life, failing forward one mistake at a time. So I just felt like I needed to encourage you in that because it's something that I need to hear a lot of the times too. And if you don't have that person in your life to tell you, well, sis, you've come to the right place because I want to be the one to tell you those things. And I will be here to tell you those things. So I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope you give yourself a break. Take a step back from the messiness of motherhood and look at what is happening and unfolding in front of you and just don't miss out on it. Get in there with your kids. Engage with your marriage. Engage with your kiddos and pour back into yourself because it's the best investment you can ever make. And you going through all these painful transitions into becoming a better person and a better mother is going to pay off dividends for your kids and their kids, and then your grandkids and your great grandkids. And it's all because of you. Hey, sis, I hope you found that helpful to hear those words from me today. If you didn't have anybody in your life right now currently to speak life into you, I want to be that person for you. If there's any other topics that you need to hear anonymously, girl, this is how we do it in here. And so give me those ideas. I don't blast you on the internet. I don't cause judgment toward you. I don't care. I just want to know how I can serve you and show up for you in the best way possible because we've all been there. There's no shame in the game, sister. So shoot me a DM. Tell me, oh my gosh, this was right on spot for me. I needed to hear this. Or, hey, girl, can you talk about this? I need to hear this. I need an encouraging word about this or that or the other. I'm struggling with this. Can you talk about this? Hey, even tell me you have a friend struggling with it. I'm not going to assume, okay? Just tell me because not asking is the worst thing you can do. Shoot me a message at the Ash Carroll on Instagram or shoot me a DM in the group So She Grows Mom Community. I am all up in there and I would love to have a conversation and bring whatever it is to light because I guarantee if you're going through it, somebody else is going through it too. Ain't no hood like motherhood and it's not a lonely journey. We're all going through this mess, okay? If you found this episode in any way helpful, inspiring, encouraging, share this with another mama so she doesn't have to struggle alone as well. Y'all know that there's power in sharing and caring for each other. So, hope you have an amazing week. I'll catch you guys next time.